Well, I get excited when I start talking about Atiku because it's a place that's really dear and near to my heart. I fell in love with this little village in 2007 when I made my first trip. After my daughter had been there, in this little village was the most amazing kind of love that I've never experienced in my life. I saw children running in the streets with just pure joy, but they may not have any shoes on. They may not, some of them didn't hardly have a stitch of clothes on. People who have little or nothing, sometimes they don't know where their next meal will be coming from, but they're willing to give, to open their arms and welcome you.
The night we arrived, we had a long day of traveling, and we arrived very late, and the gates opened to Missionary Inn, which is where we stayed, and there were hundreds of kids in a circle with candles and singing as the bus pulled in. It was hot that night, and those kids had been standing there for hours waiting for us to arrive. There was no way for them to know what time we would get there, so they just had them out there waiting and waiting and waiting. And when we pulled in, they were singing with smiles on their faces. And I really don't think there was one person who got off the bus from Dallas Christian that had a dry eye. It was an incredible experience.
I've been to Atiku 3 times. It's been 3 vastly different experiences. The first time that I went, we helped complete a high school building and helped them put in floors and put in walls and paint.
One of our families has gone several years, even built a hospital there because she was so touched by the lack of medical care there.
We helped open up the hospital and saw hundreds, if not thousands, of patients that had never had access to medical care.
The Christina Adcock and Sons Medical Center has saved lives on a daily basis. We were able to visit the hospital a couple of times, and I saw with my own eyes two babies, 2-year-old babies who would not have made it if it weren't for that hospital.
We interacted with many people from Atiku and surrounding villages, helping them see doctors, helping them get health care that they needed, helping them fill prescriptions, even working in pharmacies.
The hospital has serviced so many people. It's been incredible to watch how it has impacted the life of those kids.
I loved it last year watching those kids build the house, and they worked so hard. We all did. We worked in the rain. We were just exhausted by the end of the day.
We saw so much need, a family that had lost both parents and needed a place to live, and I went in thinking we'd build a shack, and we really built a very nice house, and we worked hard. And it was a really good feeling of accomplishment to see that we did something tangible and something that was so needed.
I mean, for me personally, just to see the looks on their faces, on all the little kids' faces, whenever we served them and played with them and hung out with them during downtime when we weren't working, was just so rewarding. There are people in other places that are hurting and that don't have as much as we do, and that do have a lot of needs that we can help if we just go out of our way to help them. And I feel like that's really important.
Dallas Christian School mission trip to Ghana, it's one of the most important and the most fascinating programs that they started here, or trips that they started here. It's very impactful to me and my society back home. The first time that they came, it was just amazing. It put smiles on our faces, and it was just an important thing to see all these people come work for us and help us grow in the Lord.
We're about sharing the gospel, but we're about making a difference. I've watched our kids be a part of water wells, pumping for the very first time in a village where there was only dirty water, that they had to haul dirty water out of a stream that I wouldn't even want to put my feet into to wade through. But they were drinking that water, and they were having to use that water to bathe in and to wash their clothes in. And so just the simple water well that we can go dig, and you can dig a water well in the villages around Atiku for anywhere between $5,000 and $6,000. Well, that's probably the best $5,000 or $6,000 that one person will spend in their lifetime to know that they gave water, not just to a few people, but to an entire village. We just have to really be available to God and be available to be used where He wants us to be used and go where He wants us to go.
Sometimes our world is so small, we get caught up in thinking about what we want, and we go to a Tiku and we see such a difference between want and need that has a huge impact and makes us really think and consider how we should live our life and how we should be thankful for the things that we have and how we should use the resources that we have to serve others instead of being so focused on what we don't have.
They are so happy to see that you came from the comfort of America to come over and see them just means the world to them. We don't have to come with big gifts. We just come ready to work and serve and say, where do you want to use us, Lord? We're here to serve. And He always provides and finds a place to use us.